Welcome back to Arches Arena for the biggest BUCS game of the season here at Kincoy Campus. The Arches men team face off with the Westminster versus Dragons for entry to the BUCS Premier League section. This season we've seen the Arches men lift the NBL Youth League title, the BUCS Western 1A Championship, and the Basketball Cup. Success of the Dragons today would round off the most successful season in the Arches men's program history. Here at Arches Arena, I've seen some fantastic games this year. There's so much at stake for players once within the season. This really feels like the precipice of the entire season, and I'm proud to be able to share with you here at Cardiff Basketball TV. My name is David Burns, and my running mate here today is Ryan Bellini. Ryan, we saw the BUCS squad come up short in the Boston matchup with Bath. How do the Archers make sure they come out with a different result today?
Well, it's important to mention the ending of that game. The Archers went on an outstanding run and nearly pulled off what we thought was the impossible, Dav. So it's just about keeping spirits high. They're going into this game and it's just treated like a final. You know, there's so much on the line today and it's just about giving it their all and, yeah, just continuing where they left off.
Absolutely. So that first half, they really seemed to be lacking energy. They were inefficient. But it was just Solomon Walker who was really showing out, hustle on the floor. How important is he going to be today?
Well, last week, Sol literally led by example. He's the captain of the team and he played according to that. He was outstanding from start to finish, struggled with free throws at times, particularly in the first quarter. But listen, he led by example, and if the other guys are able to chip in with Sol, with Dan today, well, then we can expect what will most likely be an Archers victory.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. If it is going to be an Archers victory, you know there's only one man who can have his fingerprints all over this one, and that'll be Dan Flaherty. In his last game in the NBL playoffs, we saw him drop 46 points in that first round matchup. If we see anything like that today, surely the Archers will go through easily.
You'd like to think so, and I mean, especially thinking that's not even his season high. The season high is 49 points against the Reading Rockets that we saw earlier on in the NBL season. But listen, he does it for BUCS, he does it for the NBL team. He's been fantastic throughout the season, and it'd be interesting. The spotlight is well and truly on him tonight.
Well, this is a final of all finals, the biggest game in the history of both of these teams' BUCS programs. Neither side has ever come this far before, so any team that wins today will be making history for their clubs, for their universities. To be able to call yourselves a Premier League BUCS team is something that only 16 clubs in the entire country get to say. What an achievement that would be for both of them. What a moment of pride for the Archers programs that's been building towards this for such a long time.
It's a fantastic achievement, and I mean, you know, Coach James Dorr, if he is to pull that off today, it's going to be a fantastic achievement for him. He's a basketball man through and through. To be able to, you know, coach a team towards that stage, the elevation that we've seen with this team throughout the season, all eyes on tonight. There's so much to live up to. It's going to be a fantastic game, and I honestly can't wait.
Speaking of James Dorr, it's really interesting. You don't see it in many sports, but James Dorr, both a player and a head coach for the Archers. He starts as a point guard for the NBL side, and his assistant coach Stefan Rosier is the head coach of that team. What kind of advantage would they have to have that kind of connection with their head coach?
I guess there's different ways you can look at it, Dav. I mean, playing alongside, it's a strange dynamic for some of these players like Dan who play alongside James. I suppose it's a strange dynamic, but it's also a huge positive to have that relationship with your coach. And, you know, so to play alongside and also be coached, you kind of understand how he's thinking. I suppose there's so much to it, but I think it can only work as a positive.
Well, if they are going to get a victory today, they're going to need a better performance from one man who's been fantastic all season long. And that man is Mark Morale. Second highest scorer for the Archers this season behind Dan Flaherty, but he had a really poor game last time out in varsity. He doesn't play for the NBL side, so he hasn't been able to get that bounce back from that big win. Do you think he's going to be able to do it today?
I think so. I mean, we've been watching him from courtside here, and he looks warm, he looks hot, he looks like he's going to grow into this one. He's had that week to just sort of reflect, refresh, and listen, some of his teammates that were playing in the NBL, they can now uplift him. But listen, like we say, it's a new game. Regardless of that, it's a new game, and they'll be working from scratch here today. Fresh start, and Mark Morale will be hoping to take off where he left in other games this season.
Looking back over towards the Westminster side, yesterday they were actually playing another game. In the LMBL, which stands for the London Metropolitan Basketball League, they beat the Sonics 87-64. So a big win leading into tonight, but there might be some tired legs out there. How are the Archers going to have to try to take advantage of that one?
Just play with a very, very, very high intensity. I mean, it's something that we've seen this team do. We saw it last week. Sometimes they play with a bit of a slower tempo, but today it's just got to be 100 miles an hour from get-go. Also staying composed at the same time. You know, last week, one of their biggest downfalls was turnovers. We saw so many careless turnovers, whether it's stepping out of bounds, being stripped. There was just so many times last week that the Archers just lost possession unnecessarily. This week it's about keeping a firm head and just staying composed from start to finish.
So discipline is the word for these Archers. Cut down on turnovers, keep the energy moving forward, and this should be a big win and a huge success for the entire Archers program. We are just about 5 minutes away from the scheduled tip-off here. Let me just run you through the starting fives as we have them now. So for the Archers, if you've been watching this men's team all season, you should be pretty accustomed to this lineup. We've got Mark Morale, Billy Smallwood, Dan Flaherty, Sonal Minty-Walker, and Bradley Abrahams. Now for the Westminster University, we've got Andre Reed, R2, Marcus Sai, Kamari Hunter, and Rainor Dragisha. So if you're unfamiliar with some of those names, I completely understand. The two big names to look out for, Andre Reed and Michael Otu. Michael Otu, 18, 2, and 3 in the NBL last year. He was also Defensive Player of the Year in his senior year in St. Thomas University up in Canada. He's going to cause problems, right, Ryan?
You'd like to think so. I mean, an experienced player, played at STU in New Brunswick, but also, it's more importantly, he was Justin Grant's teammate over at STU. So something to watch out for there. But listen, he's got a fantastic story. We know about his brain injury he suffered in 2016. Hit by a motor vehicle and was told he would never play basketball again. It's a phenomenal story nonetheless, but like we say, he is one to watch out for today. He gets it done on both ends of the court.
Well, as we're watching some crazy dunks from Sol Minty-Walker and Dan Flaherty, let's hope they're not getting it out of their system now. Let's hope they're just warming up. The crowd here is energizing. The atmosphere is starting to bubble. It looks like we're in for a fantastic game of basketball ahead of us. Going back to that other name I mentioned, Andre Reed, also had a fantastic year in the NBL Div 3 last season. Andre Reed averaged 22, 6, and 4. Having spoken to Tom Guntrip, a direct quote from when they faced off with his side last year in the NBL, he gave them the business. What do you make of that, Ryan?
From what Tom said, definitely one to watch out for today. In the NBL last year, averaging 22, 6, and 4. The MVP of this Westminster side last season. He's one to watch out for today. Guard coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Listen, from what Tom said, the Archers should be worried about him. If they're able to limit him today, there's a couple of other guys in this team as well, but he looks to be the main option. We saw it with Aiden O'Flaherty last week. Let's hope it's not something that's going to be replicated today.
Well, I had my heart in my throat for a second as he pulled up from mid-court, and it almost looked like he was going to sink it on cue. These Archers have just about 3.5 minutes before it is game time here at Archers Arena. Please remember that as well as the men's team, we'll be right back here on Cardiff Met Sports TV from the Archers Arena for a WBBL matchup against the Seven Oaks Suns this Saturday. If you can't find the time in your weekend to try and join in with the action and the atmosphere, we'll be right here on the stream for the entirety of the game. I'll be on the comms for you as usual for the WBBL action this Saturday, the 8th of April. The buzzer sounds and Archers Arena erupts. Anticipation bubbling towards the tip-off of this one. Dan Flaherty. It took a couple of quarters into varsity for headband mode to be engaged. He's training with it today. He's getting warmed in headband mode.
Very, very interesting. It'd be really interesting to see how he starts. Like we said last week, there's the whole stigma that's attached to headband in basketball. Be interesting to see what sort of mindset Dan is going into this game. But listen, like we said, there has to be composure, there has to be discipline. And those are the key points going into this game for the Archers.
Well, the Archers haven't been shooting the 3-ball very well this season, and that was definitely the case in varsity. But if they can draw enough attention to their drivers in Solmincy Walker, Dan Flaherty, and lead ball handler Mark Morale, there should be space on the outside. Someone who we mentioned earlier as a teammate of Daniel Otto, who's actually the best three-point shooter for this Archers side, is Justin Grant. Archers Arena doesn't care that I'm talking. They're looking to drown us out. Westminster fans have come in their numbers here. It's looking like it's going to be a very exciting game here at the Archers Arena. Dan Flaherty in his BUCS number 5. I spoke with him earlier last week, and he said he actually prefers to play in 5 than the 13 that he wears during the NBL season, that he chose number 5 because that's what he used to play in as he was a kid. So 13 has been his number in his more adult years, but 5 was his childhood number. So he gets to play with a bit more freedom when he's playing in 5. He's playing in 5 tonight. Let's hope for an awful lot of freedom for Dan the Man, Dan Flaherty.
I think an interesting point to point out here is it's really hard to know how these teams compare, how these teams draw up. The Archers finished 7-3 in the Western Tier 1. In the Southeastern Tier 1, Westminster finished 8-2. So of course it's not like, you know, we see in the NBA or in the BBL where sides play each other before going into the playoffs. This is completely alien. These two teams haven't played each other this season, so it's really, really interesting to see how they match up and how they're going to play against each other.
And it's much more difficult for the coaches because of that. They don't have loads of footage that they can look over from previous matchups and previous competitions between the two sides. They're going in blind, and they just have to hope that all of their players have got their heads switched right on. Just
to an extent, these guys are coming here just as much as we know. We look online, we get the stats, we piece it together, we watch whatever tape we can. These guys are in the exact same boat as us. It's not like these games are broadcasted. It's such a difficult job for Clive Castillo and for James Dorr.
It's interesting to see a team called the Dragons facing against a Welsh opposition, but that is what the Archers have ahead of them here today. The Dragons of Westminster making big investments into British basketball. They're building a brand new basketball arena up on their Harrow campus, to be titled quite aptly the Dragons' Den. Huge investment, but we love to see the growth of British basketball. So it's good to see that, even if it's coming from an opposition team. Of course, the Archers don't need to do that, as Archers Arena is here and more than fit for purpose. A slight change to the starting lineups from what we've been expecting. The Archers not going with Bradley Abrahams at the center. They've got Sam Notice on, going really small against this Dragon side. Solmincy Walker, their biggest player. He's a definite forward, but we're seeing him play today. He's going to have to match up all the way down low. We are about to tip off here at Archers Arena. If you're not excited for this, you don't love British basketball. And the Archers win the tip. Here is Billy Smallwood. Mark Morale finds Sam Notice. Referee with a whistle.
This is going to be incredibly difficult for these Archers. They're on home court, but listen to the atmosphere in here. It is packed with Westminster fans who came down on that fan bus earlier on today. And it's almost like an away match in a sense. Incredibly difficult atmosphere to play in. It's going to be hostile for the home team.
And the referee's whistle this time goes the way of the Dragons. They'll get a baseline side out here. Looks like the Dragons also made an alteration to their starting 5. Julius Vaitkus, number 10, starting. Here he is, Vaitkus on cue. Just a little to the right there. The Archers have a chance here in transition if Solmincy Walker can get through. And it'll go go the way of the Archers. They'll get the restart on the baseline. Nice aggression there from Saul Mincy-Walker, driving straight to the basket, but couldn't break out of traffic. Saul Mincy-Walker from the mid-range, too strong. Here come Westminster. The drive, the score by Rhino Dragisha. Billy Smallwood finds Saul Mincy-Walker. Happy to take a second. Here is Mark Morale from the corner. Too strong. Here is Andre Reed. Sidestep, 3 with the right hand. Both teams finding it difficult to find the bottom of the net in this starting moment. Dan Flaherty has no such difficulties. The quick hop, step and drive, a beautiful left-hand lay. Here is Andre Reed once more. Dragisha looking to the right corner, finds Otu. Otu with the drive. Pulls up from the mid-range and the bank is open. The Dragons lead the Archers 4-2, 8 minutes and 25 seconds left in this game. Billy Smallwood's got to get it over half court. Just about manages it. Here's Saul Mincy-Walker driving, kicking. Mark Morale, a beautiful clutch Shelley layup.
Sweet finger roll there from Mark Morale. That's exactly what he needs for confidence purposes. A tough game last week against Bath, but he started here really well with that shot.
Otu's wide open from three-point range. Archers Arena seeming to be owned by the Westminster fans so far. A beautiful no-look pass from Mark Morale, and Sam Notice with the layup right under the basket. It's a tie ball game, and this looks set to be a fantastic matchup, Ryan.
Really, really interesting start. Westminster have looked really, really good. As we mentioned, the crowd here, they're supporting them. And they've started really well there with Andre Reed.
Andre Reed taking it straight to the basket there. Mark Morale, the crossover, the Euro step. Couldn't quite get the finish, but Dan Flaherty makes up for his teammate's mistake. It's back and forth. It's another tied shot. 8-all. The drive. And Dragisha tried to go straight over Sam Notice there. Unable to do so. Mark Morale's got some space from 3. And that's his second straight miss from outside.
It almost seems as if these two teams are bouncing off each other here as that flurry of made possessions. It's almost as if they're elevating each other.
It's Kamari Hunter. Saul Mincy-Walker with fantastic defense there. A great challenge on the shot, and Mark Morale has a chance in transition. He finds Saul Mincy-Walker joining in late, pulling up from 3, but he misses the rim in entirety. Sam Notice with a great hustle play, and Dan Flaherty on the 3rd time of asking. Dan Flaherty puts it down.
And last week against Bath, that was one criticism we had of this Archers team. They were conceded too many offensive rebounds, but there, they got their own and they made it count.
Fantastic ball pick there by Dan Flaherty. Gets a deflection off the Westminster player, and it'll be Archer's ball. Beautiful defensive work there by the star man, Dan Flaherty. Here he is once more looking to instigate the offense himself this time. Mark Morale. Saul Mincy-Walker coming off the curl. Dan Flaherty from outside. Nothing but net. Dan Flaherty has started this with a fantastic show on the offensive end. Archers up by 5.
And headband Dan has arrived. We saw it last week when he put it on in the second half.
Andre Reed answers back. The lead cut down to 3 here. Saul Mincy-Walker atop the key. Billy Smallwood uses the screen. Can't find Saul. Here's Dan Flaherty. Mark Morale spinning. Brought down. It's a bad foul there by Kamari Hunter. Mark Morale's got words as he passes him.
Well, immediately, Dav, this is a far better performance than what we saw last week. That second half was good, but the first half, it wasn't what James Dorr would have liked from his side. but this has been good.
Substitution for the Archers, the first sub of the game. Justin Grant in for Billy Smallwood. Here's Mark Morale. Spinning once more. And that'll be Archer's ball once again. Only 7 seconds on the shot clock as they get going once more. Mark Morale has been full of energy so far. Justin Grant. He's got an angle. Westminster tried to draw the charge.
And Michael Otto couldn't get it on his former teammate. Justin Grant's going to take that personally here tonight.
Andre Reed up and under. That's some Kyrie Irving handles there under the basket. Andre Reed looks really dangerous. Here's Justin Grant. Nice handoff to Sam Notice. Turning the corner. Looking for Mark Morale in space. Happy to drive. Happy to put it up. The Archers and Westminster have been on fire since the start here. 17-12. Just under 4.5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. This game has gone off with a bang. Kamari Hunter keeps up the hot streak. 17-14. Archers lead brought down to just 3 here. Dan Flaherty finds his running mate and gets the ball straight back. A beautiful drive. The double clutch layup once again working for the Archers. Dan Flaherty really seems to be taking over this one.
It's not like this has been any bad defense played. This is just extremely high quality basketball being played.
A fantastic strip there from Mark Morale as Rhino Dragisha was driving towards the basket. Here is Kamari Hunter with the restart. Andre Hunter fighting to get open. Solmincy Walker on him. And once again, he's unsuccessful from 3. Here's Mark Morale. Chance to extend the lead for the Archers. Beautiful hop step pickup drive. And Westminster are forced to call a timeout. Archers Arena is on its feet. The Archers family making sure their voices are heard. Yeah.
This is exactly what James Dorr would have hoped to see. Mark Morale is on fire. Dan Flaherty is on fire. This is a reaction to what we saw last week in that defeat against Bath. Fantastic start to the game.
This has been an unbelievable start to a basketball game. 21-14, really high scoring for a BUCS matchup, but this is a final. It's all different when there's everything on the line. 3.5 minutes remaining. Who stood out to you the most?
Andre Reed has looked really, really sharp. I mean, he's missed a couple of shots, particularly from three-point land. But I've really enjoyed watching him play. He looks like he plays with an extremely high IQ. But, I mean, for the Archers, Dan and Mark have been absolutely superb. All of the players involved have been superb, but especially those two. They've played really, really well, really high efficiency. Now it's just about maintaining that throughout the first quarter and taking it minute by minute.
I like that the Archers also took out Smallwood for Grant so early. Smallwood's a very good ball handler, but Justin Grant, much better defender. Here come the Dragons once more. Kamari Hunter steps back into the mid-range J, and it is a clean shot. Here is Grant. Solmincy Walker finds Mark Morale. Looking for some movement. Can't drive through that lane. Solmincy Walker pressured here. Sam Notice with a beautiful pick. Solmincy Walker got to set his feet but missed everything once again. Andre Reed, a beautiful offensive rebound and the block by Dan Flaherty. Get that weak stuff out of here. 21-16. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Dan Flaherty's been showing his work on both ends of the court. Huge offensive rebound by Andre Reed once again, but Solmincy Walker comes up with the ball. Got to spread it, they've got to get it over half court quick. Here is Justin Grant. Turning around with a fadeaway. He gets blocked by Michael O'Toole. O'Toole on the other end. Here, and it's Ragisha right underneath. Mark Morale here, ball in hand. Looking to drive himself. The right-hand runner is good. A soft touch right in front of the rim.
And Mark Morale looks pumped. You can see the expression, you can see the body language. A fantastic response to last week.
Here is Dragisha. Found his way to Kamari Hunter. A big block by Dan Flaherty, but the foul called against Mark Morale. Dan Flaherty had him covered there if he just hadn't have fouled him sooner.
I think something to watch here early on. Solmin's Walker had a fantastic game last week, but he just struggled with shooting in this opening first quarter. I just think maybe just delegating that back to Dan, back to Mark, just to take the stress of him where he's been struggling in the first few minutes.
Kamari Hunter nails down the first. We've had a substitution for the Archers once again. Sam Notice heads to the bench, and Goddard has come in for the first time. Big rebound off the second miss. Here is Grant. Happy to accept the screen from Saul Mincy Walker. Hesitation. Drive. The right hand lay is clean. The lead once again extended to 6 points for the Archers. Just 90 seconds remaining. Ball poked loose by Dan Flaherty. He's been all over the defensive end as well. Headband mode engaged from the beginning, as you pointed out there, Rye. Here is Michael Otu. Finding Ragisha. Looking to drive left, spins right. Too short on the mid-range J, but a huge offensive rebound. The Archers are getting killed on the defensive glass.
That's exactly what we saw last week against Bath, and it came back to haunt them. They'll be hoping that they're going to have to brush up on that here if they're to win this one.
Dan Flaherty with a step-back three, just too strong. You wonder if the Archers are going to be able to keep Bradley Abrahams out of the game. Well, we've got Kamari Hunter down on the ground. Westminster player bundled over Mark Morale. Referees say there's nothing wrong. Mark Morale attempting to talk down his opponent, but Kamari Hunter having none of it. Referees do in the end call it a foul on Mark Morale.
I think it was more of a coming together. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh on Mark Morale.
Absolutely. Here come Westminster again with Andre Reed. This is the matchup you want. Reed against Flaherty. Beautiful sidestep, finds Kamari Hunter. Nearly lost his dribble. Here is Ragisha. The clock winding down is a huge shot for Westminster. Archers have a chance at a 2-for-1 play here. So Minty Walker gives it up to Dan Flaherty, and the 2-for-1 play is on.
It has to be said, that was incredibly difficult on the Archers. They played fantastic defense there to concede that free, incredibly harsh. But look at Dan Flaherty, straight down the other end.
Just a second, the difference between the shot clock and game clock here. Andre Reed making the clever decision to slow the game down. He'll take it ISO. He's got 1 second from way downtown. A travel called by referee Gavin Williams. Half a second remaining on the clock there. Andre Reed seemed to be looking for the foul there on the three-point play. It looks like Westminster are going to get the ball back here. Calling the foul on the floor. They got a second and a half to get something up here. Andre Reed, hand in the face. Can't get it up, but he did manage to get the shot off in time. The first quarter comes to an end, 27-24, 3 points the difference. Ryan, what do you make of the action so far?
Well, the Archers are playing great defense, especially against the likes of Andre Reed, who has been fantastic. We mentioned his struggles there from three-point land earlier on. He has struggled, but that's only because the Archers have been so good defensively, and they're translating that straight down the other end, high energy on both ends of the court.
Well, the Archers have definitely come out swinging. We were asking for a better performance from Mark Morale, and my goodness, have we seen that so far. He's been driving, he's been kicking, he's been distributing the play. He's been fantastic, right?
Yeah, I think, last week, one thing that we were quite critical of was the Archers were forcing a lot of shots. Mark Morale had no rhythm, but this week he's driving and he's making fantastic plays. Westminster have been good, the Archers have been better. That's why they lead by 3 heading into the second quarter.
Well, the Archers have seemed to be happy to drive and take the ball inside, whereas the Dragons have looked to shoot from outside more often, and that's what led to them getting some offensive rebounds. If you shoot the ball from further out, the rebound comes further out. That's Newton's law. Well, we're about to get started for the second quarter of action. 3 points the difference. Dan Flaherty's been amazing, and he is going to be sticking to Andre Reed by the look of it for what is the matchup of the season. I don't think I've seen anything this exciting before. Reed with a handoff. Ragasha finds. It'll stay Westminster ball. Justin Grant with the pick there. Archers have been all over the ball, stripping the ball with ease on multiple occasions so far from the Dragons.
And overall, this game just looks so greatly poised. If this isn't an advertisement to get down to Archers Arena, just take a look at this.
Here is Ragasha looking to swivel and turn, unable to make that one count. Smallwood back on the court here. He manages to make it his way through. He kicks. Justin Grant sizing up or two. Here is Solminty Walker. Loses the ball. And the Dragons. Blocking foul called against Goddard. They will head to the line. Kamari Hunter drawing contact on the shot. The first is down.
It's incredibly hard to see which way this game's going to go. It looks like it's going to be a back and forth affair from start to finish, Dav.
We've already had some decisions that have called both fans into outrage from the referees. We'll have to look out for how much the whistle controls the outcome of this one. Here is Solminty Walker. Billy Smallwood looking to go left, finds some space, takes the contact on. Referees say nothing. Andre Reed, but Dan Flaherty's there. And he's blown the wide open lay. Justin Grant hits Goddard and he can't control the pass. Those are the silly errors that we saw against Bath. A silly turnover that costs 2 points and the ball for the Archers. Here come the Dragons. Here is Hunter. Handoff to Andre Reed. Happy to pull up from 3. And he nails it this time. The Archers fall behind for the first time in quite some time.
And after missing a wide open layup, he drains the 3. Absolutely huge for the Dragons.
Here is Grant. Drives left. Takes the contact beautifully and is too strong for Hunter under the basket. The left-hand lay. Justin Grant has been getting so much separation. That beautiful handle. Fantastic to see him getting a bit more minutes here today.
Yeah, last week we didn't see too much of Justin Grant, but as you mentioned, he's heavily involved in that NBL team. Tonight, perhaps with a point to prove. As you mentioned, coming up against an old teammate who he matches up perfectly with. But Justin Grant has started this game very, very well.
The first is a knockdown. Justin Grant unable to top off the and one there. Here is Andre Reed. Driving left. Double clutch is good. The Archers down by 1 once again. Here's Dan Flaherty. Takes the contact, unable to finish it off. And that is Dragons ball. The Westminster fans are going crazy here at Archers Arena. Here come the Dragons with that man, Andre Reed, once more. Referee Gavin Williams with a whistle. He's got a concern about the clock. Just wants to make sure that everything's running swimmingly here. But these are the kind of stoppages that we don't want to be seeing in these kind of games. It was the shot clock. They've added 2 seconds on. Not really sure that was worth it, Gav. Andre Reed from 3 once again. Too strong. He's been hitting them here and there, but he takes an awful lot, doesn't he?
He does. You question the
Sominzi Walker! Sorry, Ryan! But Sominzi Walker, I'll say it again, he rocks the rim at Archers Arena. Here is Dragisha. Gets it up and over Sominzi Walker. Wow, this game has everything so far. Sorry, Ryan. I had to cut across you there.
I'm feeling premature overtime vibes.
Goddard knocks down the 3. It's Dragisha. Waving off defenders. Spinning again. Here is Kamari Hunter. Misses everything. Sominzi Walker here on the left-hand side. He's got space. Turns down the shot. Billy Smallwood hands it off. Justin Grant, he's looking to go left once more. That beautiful handle creating so much space. But here is Kamari Hunter finding Michael O'Toole. Great contest from Dan Flaherty. He's gone all the way to the other end, and the transition play works out for Dan the man. And the Archers are up by 2 possessions once again. Here he is, Andre Reed. His handle around the basket is so impressive. His ability to finish through traffic. I'm not sure I've seen anything like it in the British game.
This matchup between Andre and Dan is so good. This is exactly what we need to advertise BUCS, to advertise British basketball. It's absolutely fantastic to watch.
Well, that has gone the way of the Archers there, but once again, loose hands by Goddard as the ball drops. Luckily, it bounces off a Westminster player. Otherwise, that would have been another silly turnover for the Archers. Here is Smallwood from 3. Takes the fake shot and runs inside. The runner there with no one around him, a strange choice. Here is Kamari Hunter. Takes the contact and shoots. A foul called. Archers ahead by just 2. These are 2 big free throws. And it is time that we see the big man. Bradley Abrahams comes in for the Archers, the first centre we've seen on the court today, Ryan. What difference is that going to make?
It's going to be really interesting to see, because these teams look so evenly matched in terms of size, in terms of skill, and that's why the scoreline was so close. It's going to be really interesting to see with Kamari Hunter as well. He's been drawing a lot of fouls. Be interesting to see if he targets the big man.
For sure. He's been headed to the line a few times. He's missed 1 most of the time, and this time he's perfect. Another substitution for Westminster as Dragisha heads off. Sominzi Walker will take up the ball for the Archers. Here's Justin Grant. Bradley Abrahams positioned in that right-hand corner. Dan Flaherty with a skip screen. And a miscommunication between Sominzi Walker and Justice Grant. That's one of those ill-disciplined moments for the Archers. the game in the balance. That could cost them later in the match.
And they can't let it get to them. It felt like that's what happened last week, and that's why the game got away. But they just have to just reset, take it possession by possession.
A block! Dan Flaherty once again with the rejection. Andre Reed. He looks like he's got a bit of tunnel vision when he's driving. He's got nothing in his eye line other than the basket. And Dan Flaherty's been able to take advantage of that twice now. Kamari Hunter with a beautiful looking turnaround. The fadeaway shot there from Kamari Hunter, who's had his prints all over this match so far. Billy Smallwood's got to make a decision. It's Abrahams spinning, and the layup just too strong, straight off the rim. Or too early three, too strong. Dan Flaherty in transition. Beautiful Euro step. The finish from Dan Flaherty. He has been fantastic today.
And he makes it look so easy. Flies by players and converts with an easy layup. I don't think Andre Reed likes this matchup.
Absolutely not. Here come the Dragons. Kamari Hunter on the ball again. The mid-range J. Too strong again. Dan Flaherty in transition again. No one's going to stop Dan the man. Not here at Archers Arena, not at home. Here's Andre Reed. Turning into traffic. It really seems like once he's decided he's shooting, that's it.
There's no stopping him. But it's not always going his way. It seems as if he's missing more than he's making. I think it's time to distribute possession.
Beautiful little push off there from Smallwood, but he's unable to get that finish. Here is Vaitkos. Once again, Vaitkos. Again, that's 2 offensive rebounds. The Archers just getting bullied on their own glass here. Billy Smallwood setting out instructions for his players. Bradley Abrahams coming round on the curl. Finds Dan Flaherty. Uses the screen. Bradley Abrahams fakes it. Fakes the pass. And it can't quite finish it off. A little bit too much there from the big man. Here is Kamari Hunter. Once again, the ball poked away by Dan Flaherty. The two-way play by Dan so far has been incredible. He's been a force on both ends of the floor.
I'm not sure he can physically do any more. Dan Flaherty is playing inspirationally right now. It's absolutely superb. He's taking on tough matchups against Westminster's best players, and he's still finding steals. He's still making blocks.
Another change as Mark Morale returns to the court for the Archers. The Dragons unable to get that one, but Dragisha spins as he loves to. This time he finishes it off. Timeout called by the Archers as the Dragons go in with a 2-point lead. You don't think that it's going that way. It doesn't feel as if the Dragons have been outplaying the Archers, but just a little bit of discipline falling away for the Archers seems to have let them just creep ahead.
A bit of discipline, losing rebounds, but listen, make no mistake about it. That bucket there by Dragisha was fantastic. There's a hand in his face, and yet he still makes the bucket from close range. But stuff like that counts a long way when it's a one-possession game, minute by minute, quarter by quarter.
Dragisha is really tall, but he seems to have a guard's handle. That skill set to be able to drive and then work down low, something that the Archers don't really have. Sol Minty Walker's the closest they might do, but he doesn't quite have the ball dribbling ability to go in like Dragisha is. He's spinning all over the place.
And it doesn't make sense to do that when you've got the likes of Dan, you've got the likes of Mark as well, who are just so good on the ball.
Interesting to see Mark Morale out of that quarter for an extended piece. He'll come in and finish this one with all the energy possible, I'm sure. Here he is. Mark and Dan linking up. A good kick out there from Morale in trouble. Bradley Abrahams from 3. Way too strong. Here is Saul. Takes the contact. No basket called. offensive foul. So Minty Walker definitely instigated that contact. Referee's blowing it as an offensive foul for the elbow. Here come the Dragons again. Kamari Hunter finds Andre Reed. I wonder what he's going to do. Kicks it out. Dragisha fakes. Goes inside with that strong left hand, and he can't finish it off. Mark Morale with good pace on the break. But the pass with an unlucky bounce finds Kamari Hunter from 3. And so Minty Walker gets a hand to it, and it's out in favour of the Dragons. A minute 40 left on this. It's a 2-point game.
And Westminster just seem to be building a bit of momentum going into halftime. The Archers need to kill it now.
Restart from the baseline. Here the Dragons from 3 again. Once again they miss. So Minty Walker just about able to retrieve the ball, but can't keep it under possession. Kamari Hunter slowing down the game here. Looking inside, and Saul Minty Walker again picks it off. Good handle from Saul. Finds Mark in the corner with space, with time, and misses everything. But Dan, the man, once again gets his hairband taken off him as he goes up for that. And the second chance, Dan Flaherty's been the only one really crashing the offensive boards.
Dan is doing everything. On both ends, he has been absolutely fantastic. We've seen him do it week in, week out. But this is another incredible performance to add to his resume.
Kamari Hunter with the rainbow shot. Puts the Dragons up by 3. Less than a minute here. Mark Morale calling for some help. He's stripped. Andre Reed's up in support. The Dragons unable to get a shot up here. Well, the Dragons once again get the baseline restart. A change here. Bradley Abrahams will return to the bench. And Sam Notice comes back into the lineup for the Archers with 41 seconds on the clock. Here is Kamari Hunter. Goes left. Terrible, terrible defensive focus from the Archers. And it's an easy bucket, putting the Dragons up by 5. The ball stripped, and the Archers will have a side-out restart here.
And Kamari Hunter had a little bit to say there. Things are starting to heat up in Archers Arena.
Andre Reed's got a lot to say, and it's taking Gavin Williams to calm him down here.
I think that timeout was needed just to take the heat out of everything that was going on just there.
Well, the Westminster fans got plenty to say here in Archers Arena. They've been making noise from minute 1. Well, hopefully the atmosphere will only bring the best out of the Archers here. 28 seconds. They really want to finish up the first half strong to get that momentum going into the second. It slipped away from them in the last few minutes, but once again, it's not really been the problems on offense. It's been the discipline in the mid-court and on the defensive end.
Yeah, the Archers need halftime. They need that break. They just won't want to be going into that break with a scoreline any worse than it is now. Down by 5. They look to make something here in this possession.
16 on the clock. Dan Flaherty gets it in the post up. Recovers the ball. Finds Saul Minty Walker. What a beautiful kick out by Saul Minty Walker. Dan Flaherty again with the offensive rebound. Dan Flaherty's going to finish with double digits just in offensive rebounds. The clock ticking down. Kamari Hunter missed everything. A terrible shot to end the half for the Dragons. They do go in with a 3-point lead. Half-time, a fantastic first 2 quarters for both sides. It's been entertaining. It's been action-packed. Ryan, how can you sum that up?
It's been of the highest quality I think we've seen at Archers Arena so far this year. It has been fantastic from both teams. You know, we've seen individual matchups. We've seen everything, and it's like I said earlier, it's been an amazing advertisement for the sport. It's been an amazing advertisement to come down and watch games here, whether it's the wheelchair team, whether it's the women's team, whether it's the men's team. This is it. This is what me and you are watching week in, week out. It is fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for keeping up with us with that first half. Make sure to stick around for the second. Me and Ryan will be right back in 10 minutes or so when we get going once again for the second half of what is the biggest game of the season for both teams. Welcome back to Archers Arena with me, David Jones and Ryan Bellini. If you missed the first half, then you really have lost out. It's been a fantastic game so far. Dan Flaherty has been everywhere for the Archers, but once again, silly turnovers have cost the Archers the lead. The game is currently separated by just 3 points as of now, but with half the match still to go, there's plenty left to see, plenty of time still to recover it. Ryan, what do you think the Archers need to do different to cut back into the lead?
Well, listen, it was exactly level until maybe the last 5 or so minutes. The Archers just lost a little bit of discipline. You know, it was just stuff like offensive rebounds, just a couple of turnovers, but that is why they're trailing by 5 heading into half-time. So now it's just brushing up. It's just staying composed. Listen, Dan Flaherty's been absolutely superb. If they just play through him, he's doing it on both ends of the court. Mark Morale's been amazing. Sol Mincy Walker, they're all chipping in. Sam Notice as well. It's just about keeping at that level, because Westminster are going to go through spells where they can't find a bucket for a few minutes. It happens in basketball. It's just about picking your moment and capitalizing.
Well, we are looking like we're just about to get ready here. Dan Flaherty has been marking Andre Reed the entirety of that first half. It's been the matchup to watch, and it looks like it's going to continue that way in the second half. Sol Mincy Walker is going to get the Archers started up once again. Here is Billy Smallwood. Billy Smallwood's got Mark Morale to his left. Almost picked off. Andre Reed does pick it off. Here comes Kamari Hunter for the Dragons. Inside, outside. Dragisha spinning again. And the offensive rebound once again goes the way of the Dragons. The Archers just can't defend their glass. Here's Sol Mincy Walker. Happy to instigate offense. Dan Flaherty looking for the handoff. Cuts behind. Can't get the post up that he wanted. Sam Notice with a strong layup under the glass. The scoreboard hasn't gone up to reflect the change for the Archers. Hopefully that's not missed. Here's Mark Morale spinning, kicking it out to Sol Mincy Walker! Kaboom! Sol Mincy Walker from 3. It's a tie ball game. Here's Kamari Hunter. Taking his time with it. Here is Andre Reed. Sidestep. Pull up from 3. Once again missing. And Otu with a strong offensive rebound. The Archie knows the angle to get the ball down. It's a 4-point game.
What a dime by Mark Morale. That was on point. And Dan Flaherty again there to clean up.
Reed collapses the defense, finds the open man. And the Dragons can't take advantage. Here is Dragisha. He can't shoot the 3 either. But Michael Otu gets another offensive rebound and misses the putback. 3 chances there for the Dragons. They come up with nothing. It's a huge opportunity for the Archers to break their way back into this game. Sam Notice, he has time. He takes it. He makes it. The Archers on their way back.
And after 3 missed opportunities for the Dragons, that is huge for the Archers.
Here's Kamari Hunter finding Michael Otu. The Dragons driving inside, kicking it back out. Kamari Hunter got past Grant way too easily there, and he's going to make them pay. Here's Sol Mincy Walker up the court quickly. Sam Notice had a beautiful cut there, but he wasn't seen by his teammate. Mark Morale drives through them all, just can't quite get the finish there. Here is Dragisha, the beautiful handle. Turning, finds Hunter in space, but Dan Flaherty closed him out. Andre Reed happy to take his time. In the corner, it's Otu, the rainbow shot. A kiss of the hand as Otu goes back down. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in this third quarter. The lead back up to 6 for the Dragons. Sam Notice. Dan Flaherty here down in the post. Beautiful kick out. So Minty Walker from 3. It's raining 3-point shots. Isha is having his way with these Archers. Mark Morale. So Minty Walker, given space, makes it count. It's back down to 3, the lead. Kamari Hunter instigates in play. Archers move to a zone. Can that help them contain the 3-point shots? Dan Flaherty with a good closeout. But they just hit in Dragisha down low. And he's just too powerful for Sam Notice. The game plan is simple for the Dragons. They are using and abusing Rhino Dragisha. Here's Flaherty. Mark Morale spinning. Beautiful drive, a beautiful layup. This game has it all. Here is Hunter. Sizing up. Dragisha. This time, So Minty Walker gets the block. Dragisha not going to get that. He lost his shoe there as well. Dan Flaherty picks the ball up on the drive and can't quite finish it off. Michael O'Toole here, a big possession for the Dragons. Just over 90 seconds left in this. Every play here for the Archers is huge. Dragisha with the handoff. Michael O'Toole sizing up Justin Grant. Dragisha fakes the shot and Hunter takes it. And it's a huge rebound for the Archers. Justin Grant takes it the other way. Dan Flaherty. So Minty Walker with time. And it's just too strong. That would have been such a massive 3 for the Archers here. Andre Reed slows it down.
And we've seen the pressure delegated from Andre Reed. He's not been anywhere near as active in this third quarter.
Tries to kick it out and Sam Notice gets in the way. That'll stay Westminster ball. The Archers make a change. Billy Smallwood's coming in. Mark Morale to come out. And Westminster decide to take a timeout.
And James Dorr has to make a change here in this timeout. Reno Dragisha is having his way. There's nowhere near enough strength and power there to battle against him. So Minty Walker, when he was on the matchup there, he got the stop, but it's not going to be Sol that's coming up against him every single time. It may be time to look at Bradley Abrahams just to see what he can provide on the defensive end.
So it's whether or not James Dorr is happy to take the defensive liabilities that come from Bradley Abrahams, because they're playing so small, Westminster, that they can just drive straight past him. But it's on the rebounds, and when they go down low to Dragisha, that's when they need him. So they need that balance, really, the Archers. It's just whether James Dorr can find it.
It's really, really difficult. I mean, at the moment, it hasn't worked as it stands. I mean, it's still a 3-point game. It's still been a pretty even quarter. But like we said about Reno Dragisha, he is having his way. He's doing what he wants, when he wants. And if it's not him, it's Kamari Hunter. If it's not him, it's Andre Reed. Incredibly difficult to stop. Let's see how James Dorr handles it.
Well, we've got Smallwood, Notice, and Grant in. Morale is on the bench. Here is Hunter. Uses the screen well, makes space, and gets the shot up right to the buzzer. Billy Smallwood has control of the ball. So Minty Walker driving. A beautiful runner from Sol Minty Walker, understanding that he had the height advantage there. Here's Hunter. 20 seconds on the clock. 14 seconds on the shot clock. 3 points the difference. A defensive stop for the Archers here would be enormous. Here's Reed going for the 3-point shot with a foul again. And the follow-up by Hunter is huge. Smallwood with the half-court heave. He can't make most of it. It's a 5-point deficit at the end of the third. A huge bucket for Kamari Hunter. The Archers fall behind once again at the death. What a fourth quarter we're in store for here, Ryan.
Difficult one to take there with Kamari Hunter, who got that offensive rebound. Story of the quarter.
Yeah.
Too many offensive rebounds given up by the Archers. But listen, I thought it was actually a foul on Andre Reed there. So, you know, you give and take with these sort of situations. They need to find a way of controlling their own glass.
Well, it's just like we said before going into this game. Neither of these coaches have played each other this season. Neither of these teams have played each other this season. They don't know how to play each other. They're going in blind. This is the purest test of coaching that James Storr can possibly have. He doesn't know the best matchup, the best outcome against each player. He has to do it on the fly. Let's see if he can make it work in this fourth quarter. It's 5 points they need to make up. It's easily doable in 10 minutes. Let's see if the Archers can do it. We're just about to get started. Official Gavin Williams is about to get the game underway.
And for those who don't remember, last Wednesday the Archers started the fourth quarter by a 15-0 deficit. In the first few minutes, it nearly was the beginning of a 30-point comeback against Bath. They'll be looking to replicate something of that kind here.
Here is Vaitkos. And the offensive rebound again, Dragisha down low. Justin Grant here for the Archers. Uses the screen. Solomon T. Walker. Dan Flaherty trying to get open in the post. They can't find him. Dan catches, releases, can't make it. And Goddard's gone down hard there. And Andre Reed can slip out in transition. And very quickly, the lead has increased to 9. Solomon T. Walker drives, misses. Archers here need to keep their heads. Here is Dragisha finding Lautsgas. The 3 goes down. The lead extends. The Archers in disarray. The first minute of this fourth quarter has clearly gone the way of the Westminster Dragons. What a difference a couple of minutes makes. The Archers down by a dozen, Ryan.
And the Southwestern Division 3 Seed 1 team have started on fire.
Archers Arena has erupted. The Westminster fans screaming, "This is our house." The Archers faithful have to step up and carry the team through. They have to match the energy of the Westminster fans. It's fallen flat on the Archers side. The Archers players need to react to these chants and make a stand for the Archers Arena, for Kincoy campus, and for the badge on those shirts.
So much on the line. As we mentioned, a spot in the Premier South. Something that has never been done by either of these two teams. History is about to be made. 8 minutes left on the clock.
Dan Flaherty on the ball. That's how we want it. Justin Grant not able to take that one on the wing. Here's Smallwood finding Goddard. Dan Flaherty wanted to pick and pop. He goes in. And Andre Reed gets the rebound. And here is Hunter. Dragisha looking to spin. Kicks it out. And Vaitikaus knocks it down. Another 3. The Archers down by 15 now. In less than 2 minutes, the lead has been extended by the Dragons from 5 to 15. Dan Flaherty needs to take over now.
I mean, we mentioned that run last week, Dav, and it seems to be that the shoe's on the other foot here this week at Archers Arena. Julius Vaitkus, 2 huge threes, and it's instrumental to this 15-point lead. We mentioned the chance. It has to be riling Dan Flaherty up. It has to be riling Mark Morale up. And is it getting to him?
Well, maybe the atmosphere just getting to Dan Flaherty here. Remember, the BUCS Western 1A Championship is meaningless without victory here today. And he's 0 for 2 at that time on the line. Andre Reed drives, passes. Hunter finding Viticus, and again the offensive rebound for the Dragons. Here's Otu, another miss.
Rebound after rebound, defensively, offensively. The Archers are getting nothing.
Here's Justin Grant, Dan Flaherty down low. He's got so much strength down low. He has to be doing it all himself. Look at Dan Flaherty there, sizing up with Andre Reed, full court. Here's Hunter, looking for Dragisha. And the offensive rebound for Dragisha. The second attempt is good. The Archers can do nothing if they can't get a rebound. Justin Grant drives. Comes back out of it. Here's Solmity Walker. Dragisha with a clean strip. Here's Andre Reed. Decides to slow it down. Hunter's wide open. And he's too strong. And Dragisha with another offensive rebound. I can't say it many other ways. It's another offensive rebound. It's another defensive lapse for the Archers. And the lead is now 17. And it stays 17. Goddard with a missed three.
And it's really, really tough to watch. If the Archers could even collect half of what they conceded in rebounds, this would be a much closer game as we saw in the first half. But they are getting beaten to every rebound offensively and defensively.
Well, the referee there giving it Westminster ball. The Archers very unhappy that that's not a kick ball. Billy Smallwood is out and Mark Morale has returned. Surprising that Mark Morale didn't play this entire fourth quarter. James Dawes asked Dan Flaherty to play the whole game. So you'd think they'd at least play the second best player. 6 minutes and 9 seconds left on the clock. 17 points the difference. It looks as if the University of Westminster are going to take this one all the way back to London. Hunter's first is up and down. The Archers have let this lead slip and slip. The second for Hunter is down. The Archers down by 19. I think it's safe to say the comeback is not on. Dan Flaherty fighting through them all. And he draws contact and he'll head to the line. The Archers have no options offensively that are not called Dan Flaherty.
Trailing by 19 with 6 minutes to go. It's almost hard to comprehend considering what we saw with the start of the game. It was so equal. It was so well balanced. But rebounds have cost the Archers once again.
Well, Dan Flaherty makes the first one with some sarcastic cheers from the Westminster fans. The second misses. Andre Reed gets it off the rebound. Dragisha happy to take his time here. Westminster will be looking to take as much time off every possession as they can. Spinning again, Dragisha. Kicking again, Dragisha. Making the shot again, Westminster. A three for Hunter. And the Archers are down by 21 points. It was just 5 at the end of the third. Sam Notice from 3. Too strong.
And this is a Westminster team that plays so hard. We saw them put 121 points up against Brunel earlier on in the season.
Here is Karami Hunter. Kamari Hunter misses, and the ball will go to the Archers. 5 minutes and 3 seconds left on the clock. Mark Morale pushing forwards. Ball stripped. And it'll stay with the Archers from the restart. Well, Coach Castillo for the Westminster Dragons must be feeling very, very happy with the way they've come out in this fourth quarter. And it's going to be another shot at the charity stripe for Dan Flaherty there. Holding call. These shots purely for personal pride for Dan Flaherty here. This will not be his last game in an Archers uniform. We've still got the NBL playoffs to look forward to.
Net. But Westminster, they are growing into this game. Coach Castillo has done a fantastic job in adapting. He's spotted weaknesses. And as we mentioned, the Archers just cannot crash the glass on either end. It has cost them. And Westminster have hit some big threes. They've delegated responsibility across their starting five, across the different roles. And that has contributed towards its 17-point lead.
Well, coming into this, we thought it would be all about Michael O'Toole and Andre Reid, but it's been all about Dragisha here for the Dragons. Here is Reid. A beautiful backdoor pass, and it'll stay with the Dragons. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. 17 points the difference. Hunter, jab steps, goes, and a block from the Archers. Fantastic, but maybe all a little, too late. Sam Notice throws it off the glass and gets fouled.
Similar to what we saw last week again, it does have that too little, too late feel about it. Last week it happened at the beginning of the fourth quarter after the damage was done. It seems as if this week it's just happened later on inside that quarter after going on that long extended run earlier on here minutes ago.
Well, to be down just 5 at the end of the third and have that quickly turn into a one-time, this was 21. It's unacceptable from the Archers. Their inability to defend Dragisha down low and get some defensive rebounds has really cost them throughout this game. And I don't see any way that this doesn't have a massive effect on the morale of this team moving forwards. Dan Flaherty with a steal. He drives. The referees don't call for the contact there. I can't really believe that one. Sam Notice. Contact called on that one.
I think the Archers were fortunate to get the ball back there. Dan Flaherty had options. He chose to go alone. As we mentioned, a 16-point game. There's 3 minutes 40 left on the clock. Made free throws and a couple of defensive stops. It has to go their way.
Well, this game has been absolutely energized since the moment we started here at the Archers Arena. If you've been with us from the start, thank you ever so much for tuning in for the stream. It was a fantastic game for 3 quarters. Both teams were completely in it, and it's just in this fourth and final, and unfortunately most important quarter that the Archers have just slipped. Sam Notice at the line. The first is a miss. The second also misses. Here is Andre Reed. Finds Kamari Hunter. Dragisha atop the key. He seems to be able to go wherever he wants. He goes again and misses the right hand layup. Mark Morale, ball in hand. Pulling up, finds Sam Notice. Solminty Walker, beautiful cross-court pass. Justin Grant finds Sam Notice on the backdoor cut, but stepping out of bounds.
And once again here, we've seen a minute shaved off that clock. But missed free throws, a turnover. These are still opportunities to trim that deficit and to pile some pressure on.
Here is Reed. Kamari Hunter directing his teammates. Andre Reed. Ball came off his foot there. He's driving, he's weaving around them all. Just about found the rim there. And that'll stay Dragons ball. Rhino Dragisha, a fantastic hustle play, diving after the ball before it goes out of bounds and throwing it off the leg of Solminty Walker. 14 seconds on the shot clock. This is just time eating into the Archers. Dragisha again, the offensive rebound. And on the second time of asking, Rhino Dragisha punishes the Archers. Mark Morale with a quick drive. Mark Morale gets fouled. And it'll be another trip to the line for the Archers. Even though they're getting attempts, they're getting chances to score some points at the charity stripe, it's disheartening for the Archers because they don't actually get to see an orchestrated move, a set play, and the ball go through the hoop naturally. As Mark Morale misses the first, even points get at the line don't feel the same in terms of morale as natural organic plays. As Mark Morale misses both, we have so rarely seen Mark Morale and Dan Flaherty miss both at the line. Ryan, do you think that the game's just gotten to them?
It's incredibly deflating. I mean, when you're losing rebounds and you're losing second chance buckets, it's so hard to boost yourself back up. And when you have missed free throws on top of that as well, it's so hard to pick yourself back up. I think that's the case with Mark. I think that's the case with Dan. Westminster, credit has to be given. They have been fantastic. And Coach Castillo has coached a really, really good game here for this group of guys.
Well, maybe we should have expected it when we saw him suited and booted for today. Here is Dragisha spinning again, shooting again, missing again. Here's Sam Notice in transition. He's got options. Mark Morale is one. Solminty Walker. Dan Flaherty takes it early. And he was contested all the way there. Here's Weitkaus. Kamari Hunter finds Andre Reed. He's going to take that every day of the week, and he's going to miss that more than he makes it. Mark Morale driving and blocked. A huge block. Westminster Dragons. Andre Reed's got plenty to say to Solminty Walker. Dragons getting rather lippy here.
First and foremost, it's a fantastic block by Nilian Nahum, Defensive Player of the Year for this team last year. The reaction completely unnecessary from the Dragons, leading the game by 18 points.
Well, Dan Flaherty is headed to the line.
It feels as if there's bad blood between these two teams.
Referees called over to the statisticians table.
I would love to see a game 2 between these two teams, a game 3, a game 4, a series.
Absolutely, a 7-game series would really look interesting. Also interesting to see if the Archers fans would travel as well as these Westminster fans. Dan Flaherty nails the first one.
You can see the matchups and, as we mentioned, the bad blood. There's so much in this. It's a shame we won't get to see these two teams compete against each other more often.
Dan Flaherty lost the ball on the handle there. He's unhappy that the referees didn't call for a kick ball there. Maybe but it looked really obvious in front of us that was kick ball. And then what we've seen is BUCS at the line here for the Dragons as Dragisha heads to the bench with chance of MVP ranting around Archers Arena. King Coyd campus has been taken over by the University of Westminster tonight.
The fans have travelled well, the team have played exceptional, and Archers Arena is silenced.
BUCS misses the second, a minute 10 remaining. Billy Smallwood on the ball, looking to go alone. Sam Notice with a huge rebound, and Dan Flaherty with a putback. A timeout call by the University of Westminster. Looking to get some substitutes on. Oh, my apologies, no timeout, just a substitution. The restart. A minute 1 on the clock here. 16 points. The difference. Here is BUCS. Looking to go inside himself. Find the open man on the left-hand corner. And it's an air ball. Here is Solomon T. Walker. Fouled at mid-court. BUCS happy to accept the foul at this late stage of the game. Archers playing for, I'm not even sure you can call it personal pride anymore, Ryan.
No, and I must say I've been really impressed with BUCS. It was MVP chance for himself or Dragisha. They've both been exceptional. Just 21 years of age is Julius BUCS. He has been exceptional today, as have all of these Westminster players. I mean, they put 95 up here at Archers Arena. Statement well and truly made.
Solomon T. Walker makes his first. A lot of miserable faces in the claret colours of the Cardiff Met Archers. These will not be enjoyable times for these guys, but you've got to take the bad as well as the good. They've had a lot of success this season. Unfortunately, that BUCS championship meaning absolutely nothing after today. They will once again have to play in the Western 1A Conference next season for BUCS.
And as we mentioned, it's not the last time we're going to see Dan Flaherty play here at Archers Arena. Of course, still going in that NBL team who are in the playoffs, should it be mentioned. Of course, won that first round matchup against the Mohawks on Sunday. But this one, the blue walls of Archers Arena are caving in. This one is over.
Well, the clock ticking down. The University of Westminster fans and players roar out in celebration. Ryan, just before we go, do you have a game MVP for us? Who stood out for you the most? Who's the man?
I could have picked any of the starting 5, but Reno Dragisha was absolutely exceptional. He had it his way today. He was so powerful, so present, crushed the glass, and he's instrumental in this Westminster win that will see them for the first time ever into the BUCS Premier South.
Well, thank you ever so much for joining us here at Cardiff Met Sport TV. The final score was 95-81. Make sure to check in with us this Saturday for WBBL action against the Sevenoaks Suns. My name's been David Jones. I've been joined by Ryan Bellini. Thank you for sticking with us. Apologies for the loss. We'll see you next time. Thank you and good night.